Millions of people tuned into Monday Night Football on January 2, 2023, expecting to watch two elite NFL teams battle for playoff positioning. What they watched instead was a 24-year-old man die on the field. His heart stopped, in front of everyone, and that wasn't the first time football had done this to us. From a player collapsing alone at center circle while millions watched on live television, to an entire stadium of 96 people who went to a game and never came home. Football has produced moments so terrifying the sport itself was forced to reckon with what it truly is. These are the most terrifying moments in football history, and some of them you have never fully heard the truth about. Entry 1. Damar Hamlin, NFL, January 2, 2023. Let's start with the one that shook the world most recently, because most people still don't know the full story. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin went for what looked like a routine tackle on Cincinnati wide receiver T. Higgins and fell to the turf. Nothing unusual. A normal tackle on a normal Monday night. 9 minutes into the game, the 24-year-old got up, took 2 steps and collapsed. His heart stopped beating. Players from both teams crowded around him. Several were in tears. The entire Bills team on the field. Some on their knees, some holding hands, praying. But here's the part most people missed. Hamlin's heart stopped twice, once on the field, and again at the hospital. His uncle confirmed this outside the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. The game was suspended, then postponed entirely, the first NFL regular season game canceled since 1935. Trainers were on him within 10 seconds, performing CPR. Doctors determined the cause, commotio cordis, a condition where severe chest trauma disrupts the heart's electrical current. He survived. He played again. But for 10 agonizing minutes on live television, millions watched medical staff fight to bring a young man back from the dead on a football field. NFL executive Troy Vincent, a former player himself, said he had never seen anything like it in his entire career. And then there's what makes it more chilling. This wasn't the first time. Not even close. Next, the story that happened 11 years earlier in a different country in a different code of football. And this one didn't have a happy ending. Entry 2. Fabrice Muamba FA Cup, March 17, 2012. Those inside the stadium fell silent when Fabrice dropped suddenly to the floor near the halfway line. 43 minutes in, no one around him. No contact. No tackle. No reason. He simply fell. Muamba did not respond to 15 defibrillator shocks. He was effectively dead for 78 minutes. Read that again. 78 minutes. While the stadium held its breath. The 23-year-old was rushed to hospital. Nobody expected him to walk out of that building. His doctor later said, "Everyone thought he was going to have some sort of brain damage or be permanently disabled if he got out at all. If you ask a cardiologist, nobody has a downtime of 78 minutes and makes a full recovery. But he did. It was perhaps the most public cardiac arrest in history, and one of the most miraculous endings ever seen in sport." 6 months later, Muamba announced his retirement. His words, "I thank God that I am alive, and I pay tribute to the medical team who never gave up on me." The game was abandoned. The referee called the players off. Because sometimes, football stops being football. Now here's the thing about the next story. This one happened on the biggest stage in front of the world, and no one was able to save him. Entry 3. Marc-Vivien Foé FIFA Confederations Cup, June 26, 2003. Cameroon was 20 minutes from reaching the final, leading 1-0. Then, in the 72nd minute, their midfielder jogged down the field with no one near him and collapsed. Medical staff tried for 45 minutes to restart his heart. They couldn't. Marc-Vivien Foé was pronounced dead that evening. A second autopsy identified a previously undetected heart defect as the cause. He was 28 years old, playing for his country. He never knew he was carrying it. When doctors carried Foé off on a stretcher, his arm hung limply to the side. Roger Milla, Cameroon legend, saw it and knew. He went straight to the dressing room. Foé was inside, alone, his body covered with a sheet. The players on the pitch still didn't know. Cameroon had won. The captain had to go and tell them. Foé was the first footballer to die during an official international tournament. Manchester City retired his number 23. Lens retired his number 17. A banner at his state funeral read, "Un lion any mert jamais. A lion never dies." This one hits different, because the next entry isn't about one person. It's about 96 of them. Entry 4, the Hillsborough Disaster, FA Cup, April 15, 1989. A Saturday afternoon. An FA Cup semi-final. Families, children, supporters all going to watch a football match. Fans were funneled into a designated area that became dangerously overcrowded. Poor crowd management. Inadequate safety measures. People crushed against a steel fence. 96 people died. 162 were injured. 96 people who bought a ticket traveled to the ground and never came home. Police initially blamed fan behavior. Subsequent investigations revealed systematic negligence by law enforcement and stadium officials. For decades, the victims' families fought not just grief, but a deliberate lie. The truth was buried. Criminal charges weren't filed until 2017. 28 years later. 28 years before justice even had a chance. Hillsborough prompted sweeping reforms, the removal of standing terraces and metal barriers, permanently changing the face of football stadiums across the UK. The most terrifying thing about Hillsborough isn't just what happened. It's how long it took for the truth to be told. For moments, a player's heart stopping on Monday Night Football. A man clinically dead for 78 minutes who somehow walked out of hospital. An African footballer who collapsed alone at center circle and never woke up. And 96 people who simply went to a game. Football is the most beautiful sport in the world. But it has shown us more than once that it can take everything. Which of these stories hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. And if you think someone needs to see this, share it. These stories deserve to be remembered. Subscribe if you're new. There's a lot more where this came from.
Spending the night in Dixon, 60-odd miles from a plan. Is it too late to learn to listen? Too late to be less a man. How many yesterdays are between